So it would shock you that the governor of California is under investigation, right? Yeah, it shocked me too. It's funny that the feds are looking at 20 something billion dollars in grants that went out that California Air Resource Board can't seem to account for. And evidently, the governor's former chief of staff has turned state's evidence or government evidence. Yeah, she's telling. So, would it shock you to know that higher ups at the California Air Resource Board are resigning and leaving for the private sector? Doesn't shock me at all. Roll the intro. Guys, before we get into today's video, we have to talk about the giveaway on the channel as the SRT-10 Viper closes out this evening. If you want to get in on it, there is massive extra entries. By your guys' request, we've also put up the combo packs again, refilled those. There's 5 of those available at those different levels. For those that don't want to just get in on the Viper, but say, hey, I'm going to get in on the Viper, but let me get in on these other ones as well. The 50x multiplier is currently 50% off using the coupon code VIPER. And we did put up 5 of those free entries, meaning like if you use the coupon code TK free, it will let you get in and get some free entries until they're gone. And then it just becomes a discount code. You can also get 10% off by using the coupon code TK. But anyways, all of that is up. You can go check it out. Link is in the description down below. It does close out at midnight tonight. TK'sgarage.bigcartel.com. Now, you wouldn't be surprised if officials started leaving their post at the California Air Resource Board, would you? I mean, I would be. These people, especially the newly appointed head of the California Air Resource Board, we're here for the long haul. We're here to protect the health and the air in the state of California. Well, why would you resign? Why would you be leaving? Why would you leave right when the governor announces that he's under federal investigation and his wife is under federal investigation? Oh, and his chief of staff just pled guilty in a federal corruption case. Oh, you mean you guys were probably playing ball with Newsom and probably issuing out some of those billion-dollar grants to some of Newsom's best buddies? Yeah, that's corruption. That's what we call that shit was illegal. Well, several higher ups at the California Air Resource Board have now left. It doesn't say if they resigned. The official excuse is, oh, they've gone to the private sector to have the best opportunities for their families. I thought you were all about saving the air in California. I've told you guys this shit from the beginning. This never had anything to do with the health or well-being of anybody in California. It always had to do with power, and it's always had to do with money. In a minute that either one of those were at risk, the rats would be jumping off the ship. And guess what? They're jumping off the ship. The ship is going down, and the rats are fleeing. Am I shocked? Not in the slightest. Now, what does it mean, right, for the California? Does it mean like, okay, the California Air Resource Board is going to fold up and smog checks are going to end tomorrow? No. What it means is the agency is under active federal investigation, just like the governor. How do I know this? Well, a little over a year ago, the California Air Resource Board got raided by the FBI, and that was through an investigation that I believe initiated out of the Middle District of California. Well, they just got nailed again. There's reports that are out there now from local reporting, newspapers and local news, that have feds taking computers and other electronic devices out of the California Air Resource Board's offices. And that originated out of the Sacramento office. Now, why does that matter? Well, the Sacramento U.S. Attorney's Office is now the same office, Democrat appointed, by the way, that is going after and investigating the governor of California and his wife. It's not a shock. You really can follow the money here. That you go from $26+ billion in grants issued in 2023. Damn. To 1-point-something million dollars. Now you issued 12 million in grants, but you only paid out 1.2 something million dollars in grants in 24. Ugh. And then we know what happened in 25. Trump comes into office. Now we're into 26. Did the California Air Resource Board issued any grants this year? 100 and something grand. So you've gone from 20, just think about the number and why the feds are investigating. 26 billion with a frickin' B to 100 grand this year. Wow. So yes, it's not just the train to nowhere that the governor has to worry about. And I talked about that in a story earlier today. But it's also, they're going to account for where this $26 billion went. And if you haven't seen anything about Lee Zeldin, he's been big about accounting for the taxpayers' dollars and clawing it back if need be. I think we're going to see, and as Nick Shirley found himself doing just some basic investigations into California, it made Minnesota look like small potatoes in terms of fraud. I think we're going to see the world's fourth largest economy, which isn't anymore, it's like 9, it's fallen, fall much farther, because we're going to find out that a big portion of that economy is fraud and corrupt politicians padding the pockets of their friends and donors. That's why you're seeing the people from the California Air Resource Board in the higher up positions resign, take private sector jobs, leave the country, taking international jobs in Asia. Why would you do that? Why? What would make you go, why would you do that? Not because the chief of staff for Newsom pled guilty to federal corruption charges is telling everything. Wouldn't be that, would it? Huh. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Give the video a big thumbs up if you like what I do. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And as always, stay petty, my friends.